The world held its breath. News channels across the globe were ablaze with a single, terrifying story. The headlines screamed of impending war. Dramatic footage showed American naval fleets cutting through the waves of the Persian Gulf, a steel behemoth bristling with firepower. We saw images of massive military bases in the Middle East, buzzing with activity. Fighter jets streaked across the desert sky, and columns of tanks kicked up plumes of sand. The message was clear, or so it seemed. The United States was on the brink of a massive conflict with Iran. Tensions, already simmering for years, had finally reached a boiling point. The narrative was set. Pundits and analysts on every network speculated not on asterisk if asterisk war would happen, but asterisk when asterisk. The air was thick with a sense of inevitability, a countdown to a catastrophe that could engulf the entire region and send shockwaves around the planet. The pieces were all in place. The stage was set, and the world watched, waiting for the first shot to be fired. Just as the war drums reached a fever pitch, an unexpected player entered the arena, not with guns or ships, but with data. From Beijing, a bombshell dropped that would completely upend the global narrative. China released a series of astonishingly clear, ultra-high-resolution satellite images. These weren't the grainy, vague pictures we're used to seeing. These were crystal clear, showing the American military movements in unprecedented detail. The world was suddenly looking at the situation from a completely new vantage point, thousands of miles up in space. A top Chinese satellite imagery expert appeared on state television, a calm and methodical presence amidst the global panic. Pointing to the screen, he began to deconstruct the war narrative piece by piece. He highlighted the precise positioning of the U.S. aircraft carrier groups. They weren't in an aggressive forward strike formation, he explained. Instead, their alignment was consistent with a defensive posture designed to protect shipping lanes, not to launch an invasion. The expert then zoomed in on the military bases. He pointed out specific logistical patterns, the movement of supplies, the types of equipment being deployed, and the personnel rotations. None of it matched the profile of a pre-invasion buildup. Instead, he revealed the activity perfectly matched the publicly available schedules for a long-planned multinational defensive drill. It was an exercise that had been on the books for months, a routine display of force projection, not a prelude to war. The satellite images exposed details that had been completely missed or perhaps ignored by Western media. We saw anti-missile defense systems being tested, not offensive, ballistic missiles being prepped. We saw humanitarian and medical supply depots being stocked, a standard procedure for any large-scale drill, not a sign of preparing for mass casualties. The Chinese analysis was meticulous, backed by irrefutable visual evidence. The story of imminent war began to crumble under the weight of hard data. It turned out the world wasn't watching a countdown to conflict, but a masterclass in misinterpretation. The revelation hit the world like a geopolitical earthquake. The effect was instantaneous and dramatic. News channels that had been predicting doomsday just hours before were now scrambling to catch up, their screens filled with the very same Chinese satellite images, their own analysts struggling to reinterpret the situation. We saw quick cuts of breaking news alerts from London to Tokyo, from Moscow to Dubai. The narrative shifted in real time. Social media platforms exploded. Hashtags about China's satellites and no war trended globally. People shared the images, debated the analysis, and expressed a collective, palpable sense of relief. On the trading floors of New York and London, the stock markets, which had been plummeting on war fears, suddenly reversed course. Oil prices, which had spiked, began to stabilize. The economic panic subsided as quickly as it had begun. In one of the most telling moments, a prominent American military analyst who had been confidently predicting an imminent strike on live television was shown the new evidence. His face told the whole story, a mixture of shock, disbelief, and the slow dawning realization that he, perhaps his entire government, had been completely outmaneuvered. The world wasn't just surprised, it was fundamentally reassessing who holds the power to shape reality in the 21st century. Faced with undeniable evidence and a global wave of de-escalation, the United States had no choice but to change its tune. The hawkish rhetoric from Washington softened. Officials began emphasizing that the military movements were indeed part of a scheduled defensive exercise, echoing the very points the Chinese had made. The pressure for a military strike evaporated. Quietly, diplomatic channels between the US and Iran, which had been frozen, began to thaw. The immediate crisis was averted. The world stepped back from the brink. But the story doesn't end there. This incident marked a pivotal moment in modern history. It wasn't just about avoiding a war. It was about the rise of a new kind of global power. China demonstrated that it possessed a technological capability that could rival, and in this case, surpass that of the United States. Its eyes in the sky provided a check on information, a way to cut through the fog of war and present an alternative, verifiable truth. This event signaled a new era in geopolitics. It showed that global influence is no longer just about aircraft carriers and economic might. It's about data, technology, and the power to control the narrative on the world stage. China had just announced its arrival as a true space-age superpower, and the world is still grappling with what that means for the future. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the events that are shaping our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Stay informed, and see you in the next one.